to stop you. So the police come in what? In the name of the law. It is the reputation and authority. They don't come in the word law. Like, hold on, like the word. It is the idea of what the word is trying to express. Right. And people are getting caught up in the idea of what the word is trying to express and not the true authority or character. Mm-hmm. I'm not speaking against Yahweh or Yeshua or anything like that. But what we want to do is we want to go deeper in the name. But that teacher who used John 17 to try and say Christ had taught them that the true name was Yahweh, that's a lie. This ain't even talking about that. We know that they spoke Hebrew Aramaic. That was their everyday language. They spoke Hebrew Aramaic. He didn't have to, you think he had to tell the Pharisees, y'all ain't been saying Yahweh in years? Mm-hmm. He told Peter and them, man, y'all forgot the word Yahweh. Right. That ain't got nothing to do with this. Or Yahuwah or whatever you want to say. Right. That is not what Mashiach was trying to express in his prayer to the Father. He was talking about, I have kept them in thy character. Mm-hmm. That's all he was teaching them. That's what Israel and all men had fallen away from. That's right. Forgetting the character. They were saying Yah all day. Yahweh. They was keeping the Sabbaths. They was still sacrificing in that name. Mm-hmm. But we talking about they weren't calling that name truly. Even though they said the literal word, they still weren't calling upon that name. And people don't even actually understand what I mean by that. Right. So let us see if the Most High will reveal it through his word. Let's go to John 14. Go over to chapter 14, same book. We're going to read verse 6. Chapter 14, same book, verse 6. Now, this is Thomas. And let's see what's said here. John 14, verse 6.
Jesus saith unto him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh unto the Father but by me.
So here, the Messiah is saying, look, no man come unto the Father but by me, right? Mm-hmm. Continue.
If ye had known me, you should have known my Father also. And from henceforth you know him and have seen him.
So here, he's letting them know, look, you have seen the Father. How did they see the Father? When they beheld him.
Right.
But not just him standing there not doing nothing. All his works, his motions, the words that was spoken, the resurrection of the dead, the uplifting of the poor and the destitute and the oppressed, all of these things, and the rebuke and the reproof at those who were in charge of the people and had shut the kingdom of heaven from the people, which were the Pharisees and such like, he came and everything he did in the name of the Father. Right? But he did it in what name? It wasn't all about them saying Yahweh. They all shared that literal word speaking off their tongue in common. He actually had showed them the character, which is the name. The authority, which is the name.
That's right.
And because didn't they their own self say, hold on, this man speak bold. Like, right. What authority? Mm-hmm. You coming in? I'm coming in the authority of Elohiym. Or I'm coming in the name of Elohiym. Yahweh, the self-existent, the eternal. I'm coming in his name. Now, let us continue. Let us go now to Matthew 7. This ain't real long, or this not real deep. It's just looking at some basic standard things. Once again, this is not to say don't say Yeshua, don't say Yahweh, but what I'm saying is that people who have the arguments on don't say it in this language, you got to say it in Hebrew.
Right.
You saying that word still don't mean that you're using his name. Why? Let's see something. Let's go to Matthew 7, and when you get there, start reading at 22. Matthew 7 and verse 22.
Matthew 7, verse 22. Many will say to me in that day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in thy name, and in thy name have cast out devils, and in thy name done many wonderful works? Wait, let me read this over, but let me transliterate it.
Go ahead and get your transliteration.
Verse Matthew 7:22. Many will say to me in that day, Yahweh, Yahweh, or Yahweh, Yahweh, or Yahuwah, Yahuwah, have we not prophesied in thy name, and in thy name, or Yeshua, Yeshua, have we not prophesied in thy name, and in thy name have cast out devils, and in thy name have done many wonderful works? And then I will profess unto them, I never knew you. Depart from me, ye that work iniquity.
Now, are they lying when they didn't do something? They said, we do this in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach of Nazareth. they were actually saying those words. And they're going to come to him in his own face like, didn't we do these marvelous works in your name? Didn't when we cast out the devils, we use your name? When we prophesied, didn't we do it in your name? Because they were saying his word. And I would say in Hebrew or whatever. But he going to tell them, I don't know what y'all talking about. I don't even know who y'all are. But are they lying? Yes and no. What do I mean by that? They're not lying in the idea that they did say the word. And I'm going to say they said it in Hebrew. But they didn't say his, but they didn't do it in his name. They said his name, but it wasn't done in his name.
Right.
Because they don't understand that his name have to be inside of them. And he know who his name is inside of. How is your name in somebody? Because he's letting them know these people didn't do it in his character. That's why Paul said, I can give all my goods to be given to the poor. And I can give my body to be burned. But if I don't have that love, it don't profit nothing. Basically what he was saying, if I don't have God in me, if I don't have Christ in me, or I don't have the Father in me, it don't profit nothing. So these people could cast out devils, they could prophesy in his name, and do all these wonderful works and say they doing it in his name, but he don't see that they did it in his name. Right. Because it had nothing to do with what they literally were saying. It has something to do with the innards that he can read.
That's right.
Did people forget that it wasn't just 11 disciples that cast out devils and healed people? It was 12 of them. One of their name was Judas.
Yeah.
People forget that. The betrayer did the same things they did, but Christ would say to him, I don't even know you. Because you didn't really do it in my name. You did it in your own name. Or you did it in the name of the devil, meaning you did it in your own character. You did it in your own way. It wasn't really about me. And that's hard for people to understand. So look, when y'all on YouTube, when y'all watching all these cats and they say, Yeshua, and they be like, such and such Yahweh, and then such and such Yahweh, and then such and such Yahweh, they get into all this, and they be on the corners cursing like, we gonna put a curse on them cops over there. And they start saying all this, what was that? La Kadesh Shaman and all. Look, they can do all that all they want. We can do the same thing. But if there is not something going on in us that the Father see, that man can't see, then he's going to tell you, I don't care what you set off your tongue of man, you never used my name. You never did nothing in my name. You lying. You a liar. Get out my face, liar.
That's right. And
I don't want to be cast out of his face as a liar. Let us go to Revelation 22. Let's look at something else. Revelation 22, when we get there, we're going to start at verse 4 and skip, I believe. Revelation 22. And verse 4. Yeah, Revelation 22 and 4.
All right. Revelation 22, 4. And they shall see his face, and his name shall be in their foreheads.
What?
And they shall see his face, and his name shall be in their foreheads.
Now, is this talking about all of a sudden the Most High going against what he had written in his law about putting markings in your flesh? But, I mean, look, if he want to change anything, I can't say he can't. But he said in his word he's not going to change his word. So, wouldn't you be just say, Lord, but you said through your prophets you weren't going to change your word, Father. Or your commandments. They endure forever. So, this is not talking about literal tattoos with Yahweh. This ain't the mitre with the yod, the hay, the wad, and the hay that the high priest had on his head. But that was on a hat or whatever he wore at certain times. But that wasn't always on his head. Right. Because he could take off the crown and still have his mitre on. You see what I'm saying? It was two parts to that. You had the bonnet and then you had the crown that came over it that had that on it. But he could take the crown off and leave it and still have his mitre on his head. So, brothers and sisters, what does it mean here that those who are going to come onto the throne of God and the Lamb, they shall see his face, and his name shall be in their foreheads. Let's look at forehead. No. Not that. I mean, let's go to Revelation 3 and 12. I was going to say let's look at forehead, but we ain't got to get there. I want something else to explain the idea that I have. Revelation 3, when we get there, start reading at verse 12.
Revelation 3, verse 12. Him that overcometh